One. We are live. So we are live. You can start the webinar.
Sure. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to IMT's online information and counseling session, tailored for prospective PGDM candidates who are looking to pursue their PGDM from IMT Ghaziabad and other IMT campuses as well. In this meticulously curated session, our pan in this meticulously curated session,
Suresh, you're audible. Please continue.
Sure, sir. Thank you. In this meticulously curated session, our panelists will elucidate the nuanced aspects of IMT's academic programs, unveiling the innovative pedagogical approaches and offering a glimpse into specialized areas of study. Our focus in today's session would extend to providing a comprehensive overview of the admissions process for the 2024 and 2026 academic term. With that, we will introduce you to our panelist.
We have Professor Harvinder Singh with us. Professor Harvinder Singh is the admission chairperson for IMT Ghaziabad, and he is also a professor in the marketing area department. A distinguished academic and expert in the field of marketing, he has over 2 decades of experience in academics, including 13 years at IMT Ghaziabad, and he also holds a PhD degree in the management of shopping malls. Thank you for joining us here today, sir.
My pleasure.
Next up, we have with us Professor Sayan Banerjee, who is the Associate Professor and Area Chairperson of Economics, and also the Chairperson of Admissions and Brand Promotions at Institute of Management and Technology, Nagpur. With more than 23 years of teaching experience and experience in research, consultancy experience, he has several national and international publications as well as conference presentations to his credit. We are thrilled to have you on board, sir.
Thank you, Suresh. Happy to be here.
We have Professor Pawan Kumar with us. Professor Pawan Kumar is the Assistant Professor and Area Chairperson of OBHR at IMT Hyderabad, a PhD from IIT Kharagpur. He now teaches various specialized subjects in human resources like performance management, compensation management, learning and development, and international HR. Welcome to you session, sir.
Yeah, hello. Welcome everyone.
Next up, we have Mr. Sapnil Boyete. He is the head of admissions at IMT. He is a seasoned professional with a robust background, holding certifications from IIM Bangalore in digital marketing for business growth, complemented by an MBA from NMIMS. With over 18 years of extensive experience in marketing and sales, he brings forth a wealth of expertise in areas such as business development. With that, we welcome you to the session, sir.
Thank you.
So let's start with the session, sir.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So I take the opportunity of initiating a conversation, and this is important because this year the admission process for the IMT common admissions is radically different from what it was last 3 years. So all of you are aware, 2021 onwards. So last 3 years we conducted the process online simply because the physical presence was difficult. But this year, IMT has taken a bold step. This year, we are coming closer to you in the sense we are conducting admissions in a physical mode. And another big change is, unlike previous years when IMT used to conduct interviews only at 6 locations, this year we are doing at 14 locations. So if I may recap, we are conducting interviews at 3 campuses, which is Hyderabad, Ghaziabad, and Nagpur. In addition, we have 2 locations in North India, which is Lucknow and Jaipur. We have 2 additional locations in western part of India, which is Mumbai and Nagpur. We have 2 locations in southern part of India, which is Bangalore and Chennai. We have 3 locations in the eastern part of India, Kolkata, Ranchi, and Patna. And we have a location in central India, which is Bhopal. Fine. So if we talk about unique features of admission process this year, see, overall the structure remains same. The PI process has 2 sections. One is critical thinking test and other is personal interview. But one big change is critical thinking test last 3 years was conducted online, in which students used to type the response. This year, students need to appear at the interview center, and there they will be given a topic and they are supposed to express themselves on a sheet within the specified word limit on a piece of paper. They are supposed to write it, fine. And of course, immediately after the critical thinking test is done, they will appear before the interview panel comprising of 2 IMT faculty members. Now, when we talk about doing it in physical mode at 14 locations, a few things are very important. For example, when we talk of a typical process, it starts with registration. Fine. Registration process means you appear before a registration committee. The committee confirms your attendance. Apart from that, the committee also verifies certain documents and credentials that you had uploaded. So please read your call letter carefully. The call letter clearly specifies the documents that you are supposed to carry with you in person. We are referring to actuals, the originals, as well as self-attested photostat copies. Fine. So kindly read the instructions carefully and carry them with you. Now, since a panel comprises of many people, we expect large number of people. Officially, we have planned 8 to 8:45 as time for registration, but we expect students to report half an hour before the scheduled time. So whatever location you are allotted, please report by 7:30, fine? So that registration starts sharp 8 a.m. So 45 minutes given for you. Please carry all your documents as per the list provided to you in the call letter. Once that is done, at the same venue, you will be escorted to a location where you sit. You are given a topic for critical thinking test. That will be a topic of business interest. You get 30 minutes time for doing that. Now, a couple of things are very important for critical thinking test. Number one, critical thinking test needs to be written. So we advise you carry a writing board with you. Fine. Uh, I know at most locations you actually get benches, fine, but the surface of bench may not be uniform because all these locations, see, except for our campuses, the other locations are not owned by IMT, fine. So the quality of infrastructure might vary. So in case a specific bench or portion of bench is not uniform, you might find it difficult to write. So we advise you carry your writing boards, number one. Number two, please plan your time carefully because since you are writing in your own handwriting, it has to be legible. I mean, unlike previous years when you used to press buttons and the computer will type, there you need to write. So your handwriting needs to be very clear. Remember, the professors who interview you will be evaluating it human beings. So, I mean, your handwriting also carries an impact. It reflects your personality. It tells how organized you are, fine? Once that is done, so your registration done, your verification of documents done, your critical thinking test done, immediately after the critical thinking test, you will appear before the panel. And the panel will explore you on basic parameters like your communication, relevance of your experience, your versatility in terms of multiple activities, in terms of your career goals, your personality, your attitudes, fine? After the interview is done, we advise you to contact the registration desk again before leaving. We are requesting this because if the registration desk is not very clear or confirmed about your veracity of any of your documents, they can actually share that piece of information with you. So appear for the interview, and before you leave the venue, we advise you meet the registration desk before leaving. Fine. Another important point, for your convenience, we have identified locations which are in the heart of the city and that are very well connected through public transport. But one problem of such locations is these are very busy locations. So parking would surely be an issue. So we suggest all of you use public transportation, I mean, to the extent possible. For example, in Delhi, we are having the interviews close to Connaught Place. So metro is a very good location. In Kolkata also, we are doing it in the heart of the city. So please try to use public transport to the extent possible. Otherwise, make your own arrangements for your parking, fine. The venues may not offer you abundant parking. The other issue is because we are inviting a number of students, large number of students, and the locations have only that capacity. We may not be able to accommodate your parents inside the PI location. We understand your parents might want to accompany you. They are most welcome. Most of our locations are in the heart of the city, so they can actually spend time in the market doing shopping or whatever. But unfortunately, we may not be able to let them inside the PI location because of infrastructural constraints. That's all about the PI process. I request Mr. Shayan Banerjee and Pawanji in case they wish to add something.
Okay, one
Over to you.
observation, maybe Mr. Voite can help me. We are conducting the PI process in two different slots, isn't it? Morning and afternoon.
Yeah.
So for afternoon, what would be the time for students to register?
So I can tell that in the morning, 8 to 8:45 is registration. So they are supposed to report at about 7:30. For the afternoon slot, registration happens between 12 and 12:45. So ideally, they should report at
Yes.
around 11:30. 1 to 1:30 is the time for critical thinking test. Now, one change after 1:30, after critical thinking test, in the second half, there will be a 45-minute lunch break. So students after critical thinking test can have the lunch, and interview in the second half starts at 2:15.
Yes.
Right?
So my observation or my additional input here would be that the PI letters that we are going to send, or we have sent it to some of you already, please read carefully as to what is the slot in which your PI process, CT and PI process takes place. If it's in morning, as sir has suggested, please do not keep reaching that venue at the last moment. See, the 14 locations we have chosen as a PI center has been designed in such a way that from anywhere in the country, your destination would be within few hundred kilometers, right? So if you are staying within, let's say 50, 60 kilometers, you can travel on that day. But if it is more than that, it is advisable if, especially if your PI process is in the morning, that you reach a day before the city where your PI center is and make a overnight arrangement for staying. You should not rush in the early morning. You know, you start at 3 o'clock in the morning and you plan to reach by 7 because it's a 3 and 4 hours journey. Because there are things over which we do not have a control, right? Your car might break down, or there could be traffic congestion or something. You don't want to stress yourself out with additional thing of reaching the venue. We all understand that there would be some of the other level of stress because you're appearing for an institute like IMT Group, right? Some of you have dreamt about it for this day, and you are very close to it, just the last step. There is a lot of stress, and if you are adding one more to it, that's not going to do any good to you. Okay, so please read carefully your slot of PI city PI timing, and then, as sir has many times emphasized, plan accordingly and reach the venue as early as you can. Professor Pawan, if anything else.
Um, yes, to add to what our professor said, um, you carefully read your call letter or offer letter, whatever you call. There it is clearly written that what all documents you need to bring it to the center. So don't miss to bring those documents, because your verification would be done on the spot during registration. So all the documents that are mentioned in the offer letter, or the documents that you want to show to the panelists or to the registration desk, bring all those documents along with you, right? Original documents. So
I will suggest
yes, sir.
originals and a photocopy also, because originals will be
Okay.
verified and we plan to take a photocopy as for our record.
Photocopies. Okay. Okay. So that is what, I could add to it. Yes.
And one reminder, so you all know, January 23rd is the last day for filling the IMT application form. And please remember that scores are also out. So there is no reason, there's no possibility, I repeat, there's no possibility of the last date of filling application getting extended even by a day. Fine. So tomorrow is the last day. In case you have not filled, kindly fill it and be a part of the CTPI process at IMT IMT campuses.
Yes, and to add to this, don't keep it even for the last day, because we have seen many a times what happens on the last day, since there's a large crowd who fill up the application and try to make the payment. At the payment level where the link goes external to the bank or any other, there is often some or the other glitches where the money is deducted but not deposited to the IMT's account. It gets stuck somewhere between, you don't get a confirmation message, etc. Then you get stressed out that what happened, is my application complete or not? So please, as sir has said, that there is no possibility of the dates getting extended any farther. If possible, try to do it tonight itself. If not, the first thing tomorrow in the morning you try to do, because keeping it at the last moment does not help any one of you.
And this slot is very crucial because financial reconciliation might take a couple of days, and then we have Jan 26, 27, 28. It's an extended weekend, fine. So if the transaction got stuck somewhere, the actual confirmation might be as late as 29th of January. And that will be too late for us to accommodate anyone. Professor Banerjee, you may want to talk more about CMAT students.
If Professor Pawan also permits me, maybe a piece of information for those who are or who already have applied on the basis of their CMAT exam. You know that the exam dates have not been announced. Forget about the result. So in the first phase that we are starting from 3rd of February, you understand it's not possible to invite those candidates who are applying only through CMAT. If you have appeared for both CAT and CMAT, or ZAT and CMAT, or GMAT and CMAT, probably you would be. But those who are applying only purely based on your CMAT exam, we will start the process as soon as possible, but we'll have to first complete the processes for people who already have their scores available to them. So we will be in touch with you constantly. Don't worry about it, through WhatsApp messages or email and all. We'll keep you updated about how are we going to go about the CMAT students. Because all these years, as in last few years, not all these years, we used to have the processes of both kind of candidates simultaneously. But since it's no more online, it's a physical mode, there is a constraint in terms of space and time and accommodation. We had to do it in a staggered way, right? We couldn't do it for all at one go. We had to do it in a staggered way. So given that, we are starting with CAT and ZAT because these are the candidates who have their scores. And then we will start with the CMAT candidates. And that happens as soon as it is possible for us to physically accommodate. Professor Pawan, if anything else I have missed out.
Nothing. I think you are very clear with the message. So I would reiterate again that for CMAT students, there would be exclusively another round of interviews that will happen after the first round, of course, first round of interviews that will complete, right?
Professor Harvinder, I think one of the questions that we guess everyone would have in their mind, and therefore, if you can just initiate the discussion, maybe we can join as well. What are the kind of preparation that students should have now that some of them would have their PI process just another 14 days or so? So the last moment preparation, any tips, any suggestions you can share with them?
Sure. Well, Professor, I recall my experience as an interviewer in IMT panels. See, when I look at a student, I look at few attributes. For example, I want students who are confident, who are fluent, who are comfortable, who have a clarity of thought and expression. When I say clarity of thought, it's about where they want to go in life, in career. And another thing is, when it comes to preparation, see, there are two things which are very important for a student. They carry a qualification. So they should be very clear about the fundamentals of that qualification, very relevant for people who are freshers without experience. Please understand, a panel does not want to check theoretical knowledge of a student by asking basic questions in physics, chemistry, or mathematics. We really want to understand how sincere a person is when it comes to absorption of knowledge. Fine. So you knowing your concepts well shows that you are a sincere student. Fine. Apart from that, if you have work experience, we actually want you to have a 360-degree view of the organization and the industry you operated in. For example, think I was a programmer. A very simple example. So if you are a programmer and if you are working for a project for a client, we expect that you know something about the client and the industry. Saying I was simply tightening one nut or one bolt in the whole manufacturing chain doesn't really make sense. Fine. They should be able to. Beyond these two things, third thing is general awareness of the world. What is happening around and how they can relate, connect the dots. For example, if something is happening in the Europe or in Middle East, how does it affect them, India economy, or certain sectors of the economy? We are looking for people who are well rounded. Fine. These are a few basic things. So we'll suggest a basic newspaper, awareness of business news, awareness of current affairs, geopolitical issues are big these days. And of course, a revision of theoretical concepts relating to their graduation or qualifying examination. Well, that's all.
Sir, your bits in this.
Um, I would rather want to tell them the frequently asked question would be in the area of the budget, no matter what is your background, right? Because the budget would be for all the industries and people from different sectors. So you need to know about the budget of your interest area or your area of qualification. Now, budget, we all know that on Feb 1st is what the budget would be this year, and your interviews would start from Feb 13. So it'll be fresh in mind of the interviewers. So you got to be very sharp in understanding what the highlights at least of the budget are. Yeah, Science, sir.
So there is nothing much to be added here since both of you have covered all the important parts or the requirement for preparing for PI. My bit would be that when you appear for the PI processes, right, when you meet the panel and all, do not try to create a false impression about yourself to the panel. Please understand, you will be interviewed by people who have an experience of on an average 20 to 25 years, right? And they might have been conducting interviews for the last 15, 16 years. So the panel members like us, we know how to spot a liar, if I be very blunt about it, right? So if you do not read books, you do not like to read books, you are not a person who read books quite often, don't try to create a impression of being a very, very evolved and an intellectual person by saying my hobby is to read books. Because see, each answer that you provide will have a follow-up question to it. And sooner or later, you will be caught in it, right? Because I remember, if I share an incident, in certain year, almost 3 out of 10 candidates, when they were asked what are your hobbies or what is your hobby, they would invariably say cooking. I'm a person who is passionate about food. I follow food blogs. I'm a kind of part-time chef myself, etc., and all these things. We could find out after through 2 or 3 persons being interviewed that this year, maybe this has been the theme that is being taught to you by your coaching centers. That how do you make yourself stand out? How do you say things that people would be impressed with? Oh, this is new, especially for boys, talking about food and other things. So then we started finding out ways and means of catch them, and what sort of cooking do you do. Name some of the prominent chef who inspire you, what is that chef's specialty, and then people had no answer to it, right? This is just an example. So be very honest. We want to see a person the way you are, not the way you want to project yourself, because it would not hold. And once that get exposed, you get nervous and then you start fumbling and you do really badly. Okay. So say things that are true, that are honest, sincere, and especially with academics, if there are drop years, if some years your score has not been that impressive, say you are a 90% student in 10th, in 12th, it goes down to 70%. And then in graduation, you again bounce back, etc., etc. So whatever may be the reason, give us a very genuine assessment instead of saying that at the day of final exam, I had a family crisis, or I met with a minor accident, or I was bedridden for 2 months. These things, please, we have heard 110 times. We are not impressed. We are not interested. And if anything, we develop some sort of a negative perception about you, that you are a person who lies through your teeth. That's not a good impression. So be honest, right? There is no judgment here. We understand that people go through certain difficult phases in their life, which is beyond their control. The point is, even if you did badly in graduation or 12th or 10th, you bounce back, you did well in CAT, and that's why you are in front of us, right? That's good enough reason for us to believe that you can make it to the IMT group. So be honest and don't try to create a false impression. And yes, very important, stay relaxed. Okay. It's not an interrogation process. It's an interview process. Interview and interrogations are two very different things. We just want to see the person you are and not make you uncomfortable and put you in undergoing some grueling sessions or anything of that sort. Okay. That would be my observation.
Okay. So Shreyash,
Yes, sir.
can
Can
you
we take up a question if possible?
correct, of course.
So the first question would be for Harvinder sir. Like the students are asking, like, could you please shed some light or give a brief about the exceptional profile-based selection process?
So, unlike previous years when we had multiple criterias for exceptional work, this year we are looking at only work experience, and again 2 parameters. Number one is duration, and number two is the quality. And when we talk of quality, we are actually looking at the quality of the organization and the quality of role. And please remember one thing. Uh, there's nothing wrong in claiming your experience to be exceptional, but you should back it up with evidence. And this year we are actually requesting students to upload the documents. We are reading comments, people saying this is very difficult to get. But please understand, when we talk about giving additional weightage to exceptional work experience, that experience should be established beyond any doubt. And for that, the most valid acceptable evidences are third party neutral evidences that are available in public domain. If an evidence is established in public domain, nobody can challenge it. Fine. So we are looking at organizations who are of certain reputation. We have a panel of verifiers who will examine all those claims, and then accordingly, the team of verifiers takes a call on that. Rest assured, it's a fairly well documented, transparent process.
And if I just add here, please remember, working in your family business is not part of the work experience. Forget about exceptional profile. Even for a regular selection process, whatever may be the position you are in, if it's a family run business or a business that is run by your close relative or friend, and you are there because of your family ties and not because you were selected out of eligible candidates, we don't consider that to be part of your work experience. Okay, keep that in mind, please.
Okay, but I'll also add that startups are eligible, but the startup should have reached a reasonable, respectable scale, and you must share with us evidences or documents supporting that. And we are talking of scale in terms of turnover. Fine.
Sir, we have one more query. Pawan sir, this is for you. What are the different kind of scholarships which are being available in IMT, and how can we avail these scholarships?
Okay, so as far as IMT Hyderabad is concerned and Nagpur is concerned, we give 40% scholarship, 40% waiver in tuition fees as a scholarship for the students who score more than 90 percentile in CAT and XAT and more than 650 score in GMAT, right? We also have a scholarship um, for economically weaker students, where they will get 100% tuition waiver, you know, uh, for around 10 students is what we give out of the whole section. And then there is a female scholarship, for which for all female we give 20% tuition fee waiver as a scholarship for all the female students, right? So science, or anything that I missed out?
Now, these are the three important scholarship you can expect before even joining the institute. And then later on, there are scholarships that are also available for students who are meritorious, right?
Correct.
That you get in the second year of the program. There will be additional scholarship for merit cum means, right?
Correct.
That again would be there in the second year. So if you are a meritorious student, but somehow you have a little bit of financial constraint, etc., we take care of it. We make sure that the fees and expenses are brought down to the minimum possible extent. And I think for Ghaziabad, the female candidate gets about.
Let me share. In Ghaziabad, we have
Yes, sir.
again two sets of scholarships. So for all the successful female candidates, means all those who get an admission offer, there's a 25% fee waiver for in the academic fee component. And apart from that, there is a total fee waiver for uh, the same you have in Nagpur and Hyderabad, and
Economically
these
weaker.
and yes, and these conditions are governed by AICT guidelines. So again, that's a fairly transparent process.
Yeah.
I suggest, I request all the students to make a fair assessment, because the moment we talk about total fee waiver or 25% fee waiver, your cost of doing the degree goes down drastically, and accordingly your return on investment improves significantly.
Correct.
Another thing that I wish to add here is when we talk about fee charged by IMT Ghaziabad, it is all inclusive. Remember, in many institutions, you have fee, which is academic fee, and then you have a separate hostel fee and a separate other fees, fine. Fee at IMT Ghaziabad is all inclusive. So kindly do a fair comparison and then take a call.
In fact, across 3 campuses, whatever
Correct.
fees you see, they include your entire stay, food, academic fees, textbook,
Correct.
and in fact, it also includes your membership to the alumni associations and a bit of significant percentage as a caution money, which you get back once you complete the program,
True.
right?
True.
So the fees that we mentioned is actually even lesser than what you end up paying. And as Sir has highlighted, that this is something you don't see in many of the B schools, right? We don't want to name anyone, but you know it, that they claim that the fee is 12 lakhs, but when you join, they say hostel fee is 4 lakhs, textbook 1 lakh, and your additional services of 3 lakhs and this and that, and then it turns out to be 20 lakhs for you, even though they claim it is 12 lakhs, right? Pawan sir, anything?
Yes, sir. As you all said, we are very transparent when we talk about the financial terms, be it fees or scholarships or anything else. It is very transparent. It is there on the website as well, so you can go through it, and you will assess it by your own. Yeah. Over to Shantanu.
Yeah. So we have one more query with us. So this query is regarding, I have heard that many B schools have student exchange programs. Is there any opportunities for international engagement in IMT as well?
I think I can speak for all of us that in all
Sure.
3 campuses, we do have the student exchange program, right? With very, very prominent and well-established institutes abroad. Majority of them are based in Europe, but we have a few in US, Canada, Australia, even in some Asian countries like South Korea, etc. And in different institutes, we have different numbers. In IMT Nagpur, it is 25 plus. And I think Hyderabad and Ghaziabad have different numbers. Under this student exchange program that all 3 campuses offer everywhere, you just have to bear the cost of travel, visa, and local stay, which is nominal because majority of the cases, the local stay means staying in the student hostel at a very nominal fees. There would be no additional expense in terms of the tuition fees or anything that would be required for that university in or B school where you would go to, right? We have sent hundreds of students over the years, and we have also received hundreds of students over the years under this exchange program. Yes, last 2-3 years, it has not been very significant for obvious reason. Last year, we have restarted, but you understand last year, again till 2022, there was a little bit of uncertainty regarding a lot of things. But we have started, we are sending student, we are receiving student. And for this batch, we expect to send a significant chunk of students abroad for a trimester or a semester under student exchange program. Sir.
Yes. Yeah, Harvinder, sir.
That's correct. And I think at IMT Ghaziabad, we normally conduct the exchange program in term 3, which coincides with the month of Jan, Feb, March. And the other thing is there's a very competitive process because all the partners declare the number of seats that they can accommodate. And for those seats, students need to apply, appear, and compete. And accordingly, depending upon their performance in that process, they are allocated their respective institutions. And whatever credits they earn are transferred back and taken care of as a part of their PGDM degree.
So before they basically go to these countries for exchange program, they are clearly told how many credits they need to actually do, so that it will be equivalent for them to come back, because their third term will be effectively in the other country. So when they come back, their third term score will be calculated on the credits that they have acquired in the other country, right?
So, sir, the next question, like the most common query, is that many of the students have received the shortlisted mail, but there is no information regarding the PI. So, could you please shed some light on it? And when are the PI interviews going to start? Is a common query by the student.
Swapnil, would you like to pitch in for this?
Yeah, I can take this. So tomorrow is the last date. Okay. And then we need to send this course to verification to IM. Okay. And after that, this week by, let's say, Thursday, Friday, you'll be knowing the venues and the reporting times.
So if I may add, please bear with us. We have this year followed a very systematic, rigorous process in which your scores, the scores that you declare, we have added a layer of verification to be done by the institute who is organizing CAT this time. But yes, we want to make you, we want to forewarn you so that you actually prepare yourself well. That's why letter for shortlisting has gone. But specific slot that is given to you, that will be conveyed to you in due course after the verification process is done.
Just to add to Dr. Harvinder sir's point, kindly check your offer letter, okay, for shortlist. It clearly mentions what are you shortlisted for, like Ghaziabad or Nagpur, Hyderabad, Dubai. Okay, before coming to the center, but this is very crucial. A second most important thing, at any point of time, your documents are found to be, whatever you're claiming and the document is not supportive. Okay, there'll be a question mark and you may be debarred from the process, especially for TFW, because we have clearly seen remarks where these people from, get certificates from Tehsildars. Okay, I want to warn you all, kindly don't do all that, because you'll be debarred from the process if found the document is not up to the mark. Okay, clearly, because this year process, as Dr. Harvinder sir has clearly said, that we are ensuring all things in place. Okay, and the students have to have the documents support of their whatever claim they are doing. Okay.
See, the term called appropriate authority, fine. So when you talk of tuition fee waiver, IMT website as well as AICT guidelines clearly specify the relevant authority, the appropriate authority for issuing the income certificate. You have to specifically use that format from that authority.
Correct.
To add to it, the interview process is starting from 3rd of February. Right?
Yes, sir. So the next question is that how is the PGDM dual country program different from that of the other PGDM programs?
Well, if I may respond to it. So PGDM dual country program is an IMT Ghaziabad program with a twist in the sense that this is a program which is spread over 2 countries. Students of PGDM DCP, they join the program in India, they start their first term, they do their first term with IMT Ghaziabad batch, but then they move on to Dubai campus. They complete their next 3 terms, including summer internship at IMT at Dubai or Middle East abroad. And then they come back. Now, the extra advantage of this is over the years, we have seen an increasing number of DCP students have actually got themselves placed in international companies in Middle East and North Africa. That's one thing. So it's a wonderful opportunity for anyone who wants to gain global exposure, one thing, and wants to explore global opportunities. In addition to global opportunities, of course, the ones who are keen on pursuing career in India, they can always be a part of the process at IMT. PGDM DCP has a unique architecture. It has a different set of professors, including a lot of large number of international professors who come from abroad and deliver those sessions. And it has 3 distinct super specializations. That way, it gives you unique international exposure. Dubai as a place is very happening. We all know Middle East is the hub for, it's the link that connects Asia and Europe. And Dubai is the gateway to that zone. And Dubai as a place is wonderful because that country has close to about 180, 190 nationalities. The immersion is wonderful. So when you live in an international location for 1 year, you travel, you do shopping, wherever you go, you get to interact with people from different nationalities. That's complete exposure. And it gives you kind of dual track in career options. You can have an international career track, you can have an Indian track. So both the possibilities are amazing.
We have one more query, sir. Sir, the student says, I want to pursue PGDM finance, but the BFS curriculum also fascinates me a lot. So could you please throw some light on how a BFS program is different from the financial management program?
See, the very fact that PGDM BFS architecture fascinates you, I mean, this proves that this is a good program. Fine. Point is, we were offering PGDM finance specialization. We are still offering it, but over the years, we realized that the industry has some unique, distinct requirements. That is why we actually created a team of professionals who have strong background and experience in the field of banking and finance. We also partnered with an international business school, Vlerick Business School, Belgium, who's known for these inputs. And we have created a program which is distinct, which is unique. Now, the ones who want to pursue a career in a specialized manner, they should actually go for BFS program. The reason being, unlike a PGDM finance where specializations start in the second year primarily, PGDM BFS has specialized courses from day one. So term 1 onwards, you start getting specialized inputs. So yes, it's true. It should fascinate people. It has been fascinating people, and BFS has done fairly well. In terms of career options or job opportunities, we have seen BFS students are doing wonderfully well.
Sir, the
So
next
the next
question is,
question is that on what basis the specializations are assigned to students? Like, is it on the basis of scores or also depends on the profile?
If I may answer this question. So I suppose in all 3 campuses, it's the same, where the first year is common for all the students. So you would be exposed to all the areas, be it marketing, finance, HR, operations, IT, you name it. So you would be exposed to all these, areas. And then in the second year, during your summer internship, you will be given a chance to choose the specialization. So it depends on your interest, of course, one. It also depends on what program you've chosen. Like if you're chosen PGDM finance, then finance, of course, would be one of the major for you. And if you have chosen PGDM marketing, then PGDM marketing would be one of the major for you. But if you're chosen PGDM as a core, then you would have a choice of selecting any major from your end. Yeah.
If I may add, there's one change in PGDM at IMT Ghaziabad. But before that, broadly speaking, PGDM, which people normally call core or full-time also, it's actually called PGDM. It's a flexible program. So in this program, you can opt for any specialization out of the available offer. For example, in IMT Ghaziabad, we normally offer 4 specialization: marketing, finance, operations, HR. You can pick one of these 4. But if you opt for PGDM marketing or PGDM finance, your specialization is kind of pre-decided. That's one thing. In IMT Ghaziabad, unlike the other campuses, we start offering specialization in term 3. So in other campuses, the entire first year is common for all. In IMT Ghaziabad, only first 2 terms are. And that is why in other campuses, your specialization is kind of finalized during and after the summer internship. In our case, IMT Ghaziabad, the specialization is decided by the month of December latest, because January onwards, you start getting specialized inputs in your chosen area of specialization. That's it. Otherwise, fundamentally, the concept remains the same.
And if I just add, the question was, how is the specialization offered to the student? It's essentially based on your preferences, whether you have given PGDM as your first preference, or PGDM finance as your first preference, or PGDM marketing as your first preference. That is the primary requirement or primary factor. And secondary is your overall score in the entire admission process. That is secondary. The primary is your. So we kind of try to offer you the program that you have given your first preference to. But in case there is too much of competition, right? Then we'll have to use a second choice criteria, which is your overall score of it. But in all campuses, all the programs, you must understand, are taught by same set of faculty members. So anyone who has this sort of doubt that this is a better program and that is a not so good program, or here the placement happens in a with better pay packages, etc. If anyone has told you all these things, these are basically myths. There is no element of truth to it. All our programs meet the same quality standards. All the programs, the teachers are equally dedicated. The program structure is rigorous, and the placement does not discriminate among the students in different programs, right? This has to be kept in mind. So don't have this kind of preconceived notion that if I'm not offered PGDM, I'm out of the race from the best placement. Not really like this.
Sir, the next question is regarding the extracurricular activities. It is like that the student says, I have heard that there are so many clubs and committees in IMT campus. So how do these committees help student in grooming their personality?
Pawan sir?
Yes, as as your scores are so important, your central test scores are important, CAT scores are important. The same way, the kind of participation that you have in various clubs and committees are also very important, because mind you, when the companies come for placements, they not only gauge your domain knowledge, that is what kind of expert um, or the theories that you know about the area of your specialization, but also because you are a PGDM student, you are a management student, they would look at your managerial skills, and those managerial skills they would look through the internships that you've done, as well as the clubs or committees that you managed. So the moment you talk about these clubs and committees, things that you've done, you will have multiple questions from the placement guys, uh, and that is where you would understand that how crucial it was for you to be part of these clubs and committees. Yeah, Harvinder sir.
If I may add, a club or a committee is as good as an organization. It has its own selection process, for example. So these are purely student driven. The moment you are campus, these committees actually float their membership. You are supposed to show interest, then you compete for being a part of it, like a typical recruitment process. Fine. And then once you are in, they have a hierarchy, they have rules of conduct, they have defined budgets. Then they have a set of activities. They reach out to industry, they get sponsorships, they plan events, they invite speakers, they organize contests. In many cases, many clubs and committees reach out to industry for short-term projects and other things. So these clubs and committees are a wonderful opportunity for actually practicing your managerial skills and connecting with the outside world in a meaningful manner. And the best part is when you do these clubs and committee activities, there is absolutely no concession in terms of your academics. You have to do your classwork, attend your classes in the day, do your committee work in the evening or late in the night, sleep for a few hours, and then get ready for the next class. Fine.
So, sir, the next question is that the students are quite interested in knowing, are there any prerequisite skills or that would be advantageous for them to learn before joining an MBA college?
Science, sir, if you may wish to.
Fine. See, by very nature, a PGDM program is a program that is not looking for any kind of predetermined academic skills. What we look for are certain personality traits, certain attitude, and some sort of zeal and enthusiasm that makes you look fit for the corporate world, which is going to be, yes, glamorous, a lot of money to be made, but also a lot of challenges, right? There you will have to live every day afresh. Each day brings you new challenge and an opportunity. There would be endless rounds of work, meeting, etc., etc. So do you have it in you? That's, I would say, is the only prerequisite skill. That can you work for long hours? Do you have the ability to work in a team? Do you have ability to lead a team? Can you deal with an unstructured environment? Are you a person who can handle stress? Can you keep your cool in a situation and everything is falling apart? Now, these are some of the skill set. But if you say that I need to have a basic understanding of linear algebra, or do I need to know the economic history of the country? We say no. You don't need any prerequisite. Whichever field you are from, you can be a successful manager. We'll make sure of that. But the only thing is the attitude that you bring in, that is inherent, and that's what the prerequisite for a program would be.
If I may add just one small thing, because these days it's impossible to divorce management and technology. It actually helps if you are familiar with the technologies, for example, digital technologies, how to make presentations, how to use data. And the other thing is, if you can, kindly try to master Excel. Fine. Excel is a very powerful tool. So command over Excel and familiarity with digital technologies. I think that's good enough.
Yeah, in fact, in our campus, IMT Nagpur, I think in other campuses also, we have the bridge course, which is almost 1.5 months of a program before the actual program begins,
True.
where in case you feel that you are not that confident in those kind of things, the Excel and some of the basic data management or some basic maths and all, as I have said, we'll make sure that you have those skills developed while you are in the campus, and before the actual program begins, you are well equipped to deal with it. What we cannot create, and therefore that is the real prerequisite, is your attitude. Those are the things that you have to bring in with you. Rest, leave it to us.
And the basic idea of giving this kind of a bridge course is because you know that MBA is the only professional course which does not need a particular background. A doctor can also do PGDM, an art student can also do a PGDM, a science or an engineer or a businessman, anybody can do the business course. But the thing is, in a class, when there is engineer, when there is a commerce student, when there is a science student, it might so happen that commerce student is very good at basic financial things, where the engineering student might not be. So these bridge courses basically bring everyone on the level where the basics are being built up. And from there, when the classes start, you are well equipped to actually be part of those classes, right?
I
Thank
think we have reached almost the end of the session. Maybe one or two questions.
Sir, I think most of the questions has been answered. So I think we should conclude the session.
Shantanu, before concluding, I just need to give an information to all the prospective students that this year IMT Hyderabad is proud to announce its two newly launched industry track programs, which are called PGDM Information Technology and PGDM Logistics and Supply Chain Management. So PGDM Information Technology is in partnership with HCL Tech is what we've launched. That means the whole course and the delivery is being co-designed and will be co-delivered by HCL Tech, and the placements will also be taken care by HCL Tech and other technological firms. Likewise, in the PGDM Logistics and Supply Chain Management, we are launching it in partnership with CII Institute of Logistics. There also it is a co-designed, co-delivered program, and we call it industry track program because the placements is being taken care of by the partners. So it's a good opportunity for you guys to be part of these new programs and explore the world of the emerging technologies. Thank you.
So as we conclude this session, I extend heartfelt gratitude to the panelists for enlightening us through this online info and counseling session for PGDM aspirants. I am sure the aspirants found it necessarily insightful and helpful. To everyone present, thank you for being a part of this session, and we look forward to welcoming you in. Thank you.
Thank you, and all the best to all the aspirants and applicants. Good night.
It's all our pleasure.
Thanks,
Thank you. Good
everyone.
luck.
All the best and good night.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you.